In this video, I'm reviewing the 2017 Audi A4. Now, this is actually a rental car for us. We've got a 2013 Q5 that is in for some airbag recall updates. And so we've got the A4 for the day. I want to talk about it a little bit. I'm actually a huge fan of the A4. I've had 5 of these. I've had a 2003, a 2004, a 2006, a 2007, and a 2009. We made the jump up to the Q5 now that we've got a family. But I am a huge fan of the A4. I think it's a great car. This is the first time I've had a chance to drive in the latest version of the Audi A4, and so I'm really excited to have a look at it with you guys, take it for a drive. The A4 is Audi's basically second smallest vehicle, so they've got the A3 as kind of their entry-level sedan in the US market. The A4 is the next model up. For me, I really feel like it's kind of where you go from getting a Volkswagen with a little bit of makeup to getting a true Audi. You get inside of the A4 compared to the A3, you see some huge improvements in just the refinement, the quality of the materials, and you're really getting a true upscale sedan. This is, like I said, a 2017, which is the 4th generation of the A4, also called the B9. There have been some minor refreshes along the way too, so if you get into technical terms, there's kind of been other generations, but there have basically been 4 major redesigns of the A4 since it was first released in about 1996. So the latest version of the A4 came out in 2016, and it hasn't changed since. Now this is an S-Line model. You can tell that by the little badge right here. What you get with that is a little bit of extra trim down at the bottom here, different wheel package, some accents on the front, some of these little chrome pieces. Basically, it just gives it a little more sporty look. On the inside, you're going to see the same thing. You're going to get more of a sports style steering wheel here. Just a few little things that give it kind of more of a sporty look than what you would get on just the standard A4. Now this has a 2-liter turbo, 4-cylinder engine. You got the dual exhaust. Even though it's a 4-cylinder engine, a lot of the competitors in this category have 6 cylinders. It actually is quite powerful. You'd be surprised how much get up and go it's got. Pretty quick car. Now the A4 is a pretty good sized car actually. You get a pretty good amount of space in both the front seat and in the rear seat. And so it, with the A3 being kind of the entry level, it's kind of more of a compact. This is more of a mid-size sedan. You get a pretty good amount of space. You can see you can fit a car seat in here. It is a little tight, but it does fit. In the trunk, you get a pretty good amount of space as well. It's surprising on a car that looks so sport and sleek on the outside that you can get such a good size trunk in there on the inside. Now the latest version of the A4, they took kind of the previous generation and gave you some sharper edges, and so you've got some sharp edges here that give it a little bit more of a new look. In my opinion, I think they did a really nice job of taking a lot of the great elements of the previous A4 and modernizing it. Get that same with the LED headlights here. Just have a really unique design there. Now on the inside of the A4, it's amazing to see how well Audi's able to take their vehicles and continue to just expand and improve on the high standards that they've already set. When I got my 2009 A4, I was blown away at the difference that they had made from the previous generation of the A4. Just how futuristic it looked, how sleek, high-end, everything about it just had such a really cool, detailed look to it. And it's amazing how Audi just continues to push that threshold and make their cars just amazing works of art. You can see just the detail in here on the dashboard, on the center console, with all the buttons and everything. Just the attention to detail in Audi is unsurpassed. Press the start button here to kind of turn on all the lights and gauges. You can see they've gone digital here on the center or front console, which first impression is, wow, that's really cool. It looks all futuristic and modern. On the other side, I'm not crazy about it because it looks a little cheap to me. I think that having mechanical dials actually looks really upscale. You can see that if we scroll through here, you've got different options. You've got the GPS that can come up in the middle there, so that's kind of cool that you can either look at that screen or you can look in the middle and be able to, see where you're at if you're in a place that's new to you. I'm also a fan of this configuration here with the little lights on the outside. The temperature in the middle there, and just everything about it has a really cool look to it, and just the way you even touch that and it knows what zone you're on, and then you can scroll up along there. To me it looks a little bit like a car from the 50s, but then modernized. Like they took almost a retro look, made it really futuristic, which is in style right now, and it makes sense. You look at like the big craze with mid-century modern houses, where you're taking these houses from the 50s that are kind of dated, and you're really using those creative architectural features from that era and then giving them this modern look, and really coming up with a really cool product. I feel like that's what they did with the A4, is they almost took like a 50s style design and they made it look really futuristic. Having these vents all the way along the dashboard there, you don't see that in any new cars today, but they look kind of cool. Like I'm kind of a fan of that. At the same time, it'll be interesting to see if it stands the test of time or not, if it starts to look dated eventually. One of the great things about the Audi A4 is the Quattro system, which isn't standard, but it's on almost all of them. If you're thinking of getting an A4, get one with the Quattro. It'll handle awesome in all conditions. It's a great system. You take a little bit of hit in gas mileage, costs a little bit more up front, well worth it. Really improves the handling and the capability in snow and icy weather. Other features on the car, this has got a heated steering wheel, which I am a big fan of. I think every car should have that. The one thing that is a requirement on every car that I ever buy is it's got to have heated seats. As it becomes more common to get a heated steering wheel, that's going to become a requirement for me as well. I'm a huge fan of them. When you live in a cold climate, it's a really nice way to warm up quickly. It always takes a while for the vent to get warm. Having a heated steering wheel and heated seats can really warm you up quickly, so I'm a big fan of that. The A4's got the different drive select modes here, where you can choose between, you got comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. So comfort, it's gonna just kind of be typical driving. Dynamic mode, it'll shift quicker, it'll rev higher, and tighten the steering wheel. Auto will just kind of adjust according to how you're driving the vehicle, and so if you're driving really aggressively, it'll kind of tend more toward dynamic. If you're driving more normal, it's going to tend more toward that comfort mode. And then individual, you can choose your own settings. And so say you want to have really tight steering, but you don't want to accelerate super hard, you can adjust that. The other thing I didn't mention about the dynamic is it tightens the suspension. And so if you really like a tight feel with that all the time, you can adjust that accordingly and choose your preferences. Now technically this loaner car is in my wife's name only. I'm not supposed to be driving it because of insurance, but I can't miss the opportunity to drive the latest version of the A4. She's inside. She's going to be upset when she finds out that I took it for a drive, but I can't deprive myself of this opportunity, and I can't deprive you as a viewer. So we're going to take it for a quick spin. Hopefully she doesn't catch us before we take off. So the A4 here's got the keyless start. So to get into the vehicle and to lock the doors, you can actually just have this in your pocket and put your hand near the door handle and unlock the vehicle. Likewise, you can tap the outside and it'll lock the vehicle. Once you're in the vehicle, you just press that guy and the car starts right up. The new shifter is very unique in the sense that it doesn't actually move. It just kind of tilts forward and backward. Got the backup camera there, which got an interesting view. Surprised it's not a little bit bigger. They're kind of using a lot of space for the sonar here. And we got the electronic parking brake, so we got to turn that guy off just by tapping down on it. And then we'll hope here that we drive very carefully and avoid any issues with that insurance, since we're not insured to be driving this vehicle. Hopefully Geico's not watching right now. Alright, very nice smooth ride. I like that. Turn that guy off. So first impressions, feels about like the 2009 A4, really. Steering is about the same. That was one of my big gripes when they went from the 2008 to the 2009 A4. is that the 2009 had electronic power steering. Really took away the feel of the hydraulic. A little bit less connection with the road. So that was kind of one of my gripes with the A4 when it came out in 2009. The other thing that I wasn't crazy about was the way that the car had grown so much. I loved the way that the 2009 looked, but then once you were driving it, it just didn't feel like a small sports sedan like the previous version of the A4, which was a lot smaller, and just felt very nimble and sporty. So I feel like it lost a little bit of that. Driving this one, I'd say that they've improved that a little bit. It definitely feels bigger than those original ones, but the steering, just doing a quick lap around the block, feels a lot better, and it doesn't feel quite as big, which is weird because I know it is the same size, but for some reason it just doesn't feel as much so. So we're gonna get on the main road here, just do a quick acceleration test. See how the 2 liters continue to improve. I'm a huge fan of the 2-liter turbo, by the way. It's incredibly fuel efficient and sporty. Oh, and the transmission is fantastic. You can hardly even tell that it's shifting. One of the great things about A4s too, see there's a little bit of ice on the road. They handle phenomenally in ice and snow, as good as anything else that's out there. Subarus get a great reputation for being good in snow and ice. A4s and other Audis are just as good. It's pretty amazing how well that technology works. And just, I think the difference for me, the reason I think these actually handle even better than a Subaru, is they have such great handling on dry pavement conditions. And then once you get on snow and ice, because they're so good at handling on snow and ice, or on dry pavement, I mean, that carries over to the snow and ice, where not only do they have all-wheel drive and they're good at handling in those conditions, but because they're good at handling in dry conditions, once you throw on the all-wheel drive, they're good all around. The heated steering wheel, by the way, is on right now, and it feels awesome. Because it's nice and sunny outside right now, you're thinking that that it's warm, but as you can see by that snow with the sun, it's actually quite chilly. And so that warm steering wheel feels really nice on the hands. It's really weird looking at the digital screen with the RPMs and the speedometer. I'm actually not a fan. Like I mentioned, it's kind of cool right at first because it's so unique, but it just looks so fake, and yeah, I prefer mechanical dials. Be my one critique of this car so far. Otherwise, I think it's awesome. Comparing it to our Q5, I like the way it drives more too. Was one of the things that I haven't been hugely impressed with the Q5. Even though I love that car, it's actually my favorite car that I've owned, and I've had 17. I don't like the feel of it driving wise as much as the A4, and getting this reminds me of that. I really like the way that this drives. If it had a little bit more cargo space and a little bigger back seat, might just be the car for me. Now that's interesting. So to put the car in park, at first I looked at the dial and there's nowhere to put park. You just press this little button on the front there and that puts it into park. So that's unique. You can press the power button to turn the car off. And there we are. So that is the 2017 A4. Like I said, I'm impressed. It's a nice car. They've done a really nice job recreating and improving on previous A4s. Love the way that it looks inside. I love the way it drives. That's my favorite thing by far. I think that on the exterior, the styling, even though I loved the previous generation of the A4, it was time for a refresh, and I think they did a nice job of keeping a lot of the same elements, but then continuing to improve on it. But overall, I think that they've done a great job on it. If you're in the market for an entry-level, luxury, or upscale sedan, A4 is where I'd go for sure. If you've got any comments or questions, leave them in the section below for more videos on cars in general. Hopefully more videos of the A4 in the future, but since it's a loaner, maybe not. More videos of the 2013 Q5, 2016 Tacoma, other cars that I can get my hands on. Subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, thanks for watching.